it just has been so run down. Like, you saw how nice this looked in the speed build, and I had the most fun just absolutely destroying it with all of the stuff. It's so cool. We got the slimy stuff on the floor, gross, disgusting. You'll love to see it for this build. Hi, hey, hello, my name is Sarah and welcome to another Sims 4 spooky season build. Today, I'm scared because I'm attempting my most ambitious build yet, and I am someone who is not a very good builder in The Sims 4, so the thought of this absolutely terrifies me. So here we are at Copperdale on the boardwalk. It came with high school years. I love this little boardwalk. It is fantastic. It's got a little carnival space. We've got a Ferris wheel. We've got the Tunnel of Love. And of course we have this abso-freaking-lutely iconic ghost train. I love this ghost train building. In a build I did last spooky season, I made a Halloween pumpkin patch fun park place, and I used the ghost train in that build as a part of the fun park. And I had this bright idea that I'd like to try and build this ghost train, but as a functional home. For me, this is incredibly ambitious. I am not a good builder. I do definitely think that the ghost train gives off really spooky vibes during the day, but at night is when it comes to life. How amazing does it look? And I'm gonna try and build it in The Sims 4 and make it a functional house. Like maybe a haunted house is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So with that being said, let's get into the speed build. So I decided to build this spooky Victorian haunted house ghost train thing in Forgotten Hollow because I feel like it has the perfect vampires vibes. I feel like this would fit in so perfectly with Forgotten Hollow. It's got this kind of Victorian-esque feel, and I feel like this would be perfect for it. So I went to Fledermaus Bend. I'm pretty sure this lot is what it's called. And you'll see I've actually got the ghost train here, and I got it from Debug so that I could try and build this as accurately as possible, starting with the dimensions of it. You'll see that I eventually have to start over again because I got it wrong. Just trying to make this as accurate as possible really is the goal. Now, I was feeling very intimidated by this build. The building itself was very intimidating to me. I'm not good at roofing, especially. The roofing was something I definitely struggled with. You're gonna see it in a second. You're gonna see me going backwards and forwards, but I'm just trying to make it as accurate as I can, knowing that I don't have the tools that the Sims team had when they made the meshing of the ghost train. So I'm just trying to use what build tools we have to make it work. Oh, the roofing. I am so sorry. All of the experienced builders watching are probably gonna be like, yeah, no, what are you doing? I'm so sorry. I do eventually work it out. It just takes me a little minute. And once I do work it out, I think it looks really freaking cool. One thing I feel I need to mention straight away is this build does use a lot of packs. I don't know if anyone would actually be interested in downloading this house, but I was just trying to make it look as accurate to the ghost train as possible. And in order to do that, I had to use a lot of packs. That being said, if you would like to download it for yourself, I mean, you can, and just like replace the things with other things that you may have instead. I just felt like everything that I used in this build was the best option. For example, the wallpaper that I use for the outside, it comes with the horse ranch pack. So it was the only blue like weatherboards that looked kind of distressed to begin with, so I felt like that was going to be the best option. So I did include absolutely as much as I could. You'll see I've done the tower, but you'll also see I've done like the pitched front where the sign is of the ghost train. I want to make it as accurate as possible, including everything that I can, including this freaky little sign on this pitched roof that I hated for this house, but you know, I wanted it to be accurate to the ghost train, so I made it work. This blue wallpaper, do you see what I mean? It's just got that kind of more distressed feel. I end up changing the green on that panel to something else as well. Now, having a look at the essential things that you need in a house, I mean, windows and doors are definitely essential things that you need in a house, but for this ghost train, the windows only appear on the top floor. because that's where all the light shines through as your sim rides the ghost train. But there's no windows on the bottom floor, and I kept true to that because I'm making it as accurate to the ghost train. How many times am I going to say that in this video? Probably a lot more times than I've already said it. And also because of that, the doors were an interesting thing as well, because when you go into the ghost train, it's an archway, but I wanted this to be a functional house and you kind of need a front door. So I just picked a front door that I felt matched kind of spooky vibes. And that's what I did for the interior as well, honestly. I just wanted to make this Victorian-esque, kind of spooky, but it's been left alone. I kind of felt like it was gonna be like a vampire's house, like maybe a vampire's mansion or something back in the day, and that's why it also fits so perfectly in Forgotten Hollow. But then over the years, maybe it was abandoned by the vampires, or maybe it was taken over by some werewolves. And you'll find with the decorating, you don't get to see the decorating in the speed build, but I am gonna show you the house fully decorated after the speed build, so have no fear, it's coming. But the werewolves have clearly come and taken over this freaking mansion with the decorating that I did, and I had a lot of fun kind of creating this little backstory with it. Now I am putting a lot of these lights around the trim from high school years. These lights, the RGB lights, you'll see I'm kind of placing them haphazardly at the moment. I do go back and change them later on, make them a little bit smoother to look at, because as a part of trying to make this ghost train house look as accurate as possible, I wanted the lighting on the outside to reflect that. I wanted the beautiful neon green and neon pink lighting that happens at night, and then where the signage is at the front, I wanted that beautiful orange, like creepy eyes look. And I've even tried to get that with having these little timber framed windows. They're not actually windows, there's no glass in them, they're just like a hole in the wall, but to try and make them look like the eyes. That's really what I wanted to try, and like I said, making it look as accurate as I can to the ghost train. I do have to say, once the roofing was done, I felt a lot better about this build, and then the way that it just came together was so easy after that. Now we've just done a big skip because it took me so long to figure out the floor plan for what I wanted for this build, because it was a Victorian build. I was trying to think of the period, the Victorian period, and what houses basically were back then. And I mean, there were big suites for bedrooms, and there was this beautiful ornate tiling in kitchens and stuff, but they also had these grand rooms, like this grand dining room and then this parlor room as well. And I definitely wanted to incorporate that kind of vibe as well. So I'm now currently in the dining room. I made it a grand dining room, massive tables, and just trying to get all the furniture that I felt like I definitely wanted to include. So a lot of the main staple furniture is either from Vampires or from Realm of Magic, actually, because Realm of Magic had some of that really ornate looking furniture. Vampires had a lot of the vintage stuff, like the more Victorian-esque stuff that I was looking for as well. So I kind of struggled to furnish it, honestly, and I felt like that was due to the windows, the lack of windows on this first floor. It's just kind of bizarre. So you'll see in a few places that I've put curtains up on the wall, even though there's no window there, but I just needed to fill a wall, and the element of having windows behind these curtains is kind of what I was going for, like an illusion, kind of. We are in the kitchen now. Honestly, I'm kind of proud of it. I really, really like it. I realize it's a big space, but I was thinking back to like the Victorian times and thinking about perhaps mansions back then, people that were wealthy, that were more well off, that would perhaps have staff living with them, live-in staff that would cook for them and clean for them. And so I wanted this space to be a mixture of a kitchen and a small dining room, and the small dining part of this kitchen would be for the live-in staff, because they obviously back in the times wouldn't have eaten with the wealthy owners of this house. It was a very different time back then, so they probably would have maybe eaten in the small dining room in the kitchen as well and kept themselves out of sight unless they were needed. So I liked the vintage vibes, having, I can't remember, I think it was the country kitchen kit. What is that called? I don't know. I suck at remembering pack names. But having those counters, I think, worked perfectly for the kitchen. It just gave the vintage vibe that I was looking for. The old stove that I used, you will have seen that I was deciding between stoves and deciding between fridges. areas as well. I'm really happy with how that came out. The bathroom is really ornate, and I wanted this beautiful opulent kind of vibe with like this Victorian-esque kind of vibe as well, and I feel like I was able to create that with the bathroom thanks to the vampires pack for the toilet and the shower, and the sink is Realm of Magic, I believe, so thanks to both of those packs. Into the bedroom that is on the bottom floor, and I kind of felt like this would be the main bedroom. This would be the main suite. Now, I don't know if back in the Victorian period they would have ensuite bathrooms, but that is not how the floor plan of this house came to be. It took me forever to figure out this floor plan, and I just couldn't work out how to have the stairs leading up to the second story and an ensuite bathroom. It just wasn't gonna work. So we've got the main suite down here though, a beautiful 4-post bed, vampires thanks to that, and I've got some really cool decorative pieces that kind of give the vintage vibes that once the decorating is done make it feel haunted vintage vibes. It's really cool. I love this mirror that came with that kit, the one that the memories kit, I don't know, the vintage kit. What is that kit? I don't know, once again, but this mirror that has like canvases in front of it, there's two versions. There's a normal mirror, and then there's a mirror that has like these canvases in front of it and you cracked glass and stuff. It's really cool. And then put some other essential furniture in there. Fireplace again, because I feel like fireplaces were essential in bedrooms back in the Victorian period. I don't know, that's just what I think anyway. And now we're into the main entryway. It's just a room. It doesn't really do much, so we're gonna head upstairs very quickly. I definitely felt a little bit overwhelmed at the beginning of furnishing this house because I am used to not furnishing Victorian homes. So I'm not very good at architecture. I'm also not very good at recognizing the trends of different eras. So it was definitely a little bit overwhelming to begin with, but thanks to the Vampires pack and kind of Realm of Magic as well, I felt like I was able to get the furnishing for this house down to a T. I really enjoyed this build in the end. I did also throw in some spooky stuff as well. Like you will see some of the couches that have like the sheets over them that are ratted and tattered. I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with the feeling that this house has been abandoned, essentially. That it's been taken over, it's been abandoned, it's been left to just decay, essentially, with these sheets that are tattered and torn. And there's definitely some more torn elements that come into it through the decorating as well. Like I said, the Werewolves pack comes into play, and there's some like great big werewolf gashes, like clawing marks that you can get for the walls and stuff. Really cool. So I had a lot of fun in turning what essentially looks like a pretty pristine Victorian house at the end of this speed build into a rundown, decrepit, old, abandoned, haunted freaking house. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. We are in the kids' bedroom now. I decided I wanted to have one of the bedrooms be for kids because we've got some really nice child furniture like toys and stuff, some pop-up books, things like that I feel can really work in this kind of Victorian-esque home, give the vintage vibes that I was really looking for. So we've got one of the big Victorian doll houses as well. They've got 2 4-post beds. We've got a Blarfy in there. We've got a bookshelf and a really nice little love seat. I don't know, just like a little reading nook for the kids. I do end up putting a decal on the wall. I don't know if I do that now. Am I about to do that right now? I think I'm looking at it. I don't know. A decal ends up going on that wall that I used in my skull house. And the skull house honestly kind of inspired this build as well, because in my skull house that I did earlier this spooky season, I furnished the parents' bedroom and the kids' bedroom as if it were a Victorian house, I suppose. So I was kind of feeling the Victorian vibes from that, and it definitely helped when coming into this build. So still in the kids' bedroom, just having a look at these beds. These beds have little skulls on them, and I didn't realize that until I got them out. I'm like, that is like a cute little nod. They're very pastel, very Victorian-esque looking, I suppose, but then they've got little skulls on them and it's amazing. So I do also end up putting toy boxes at the end of those beds as well, the vintage toy boxes that came with, was it Growing Together or was it Cottage Living? I don't know, but they just work. It just gives the beautiful vintage children's bedroom vibes that I was looking for. And then the last bedroom that we have, I also kind of felt like maybe this was a teenager's bedroom, or it could even just be like an adult as well, or even a spare bedroom, maybe a guest bedroom, I don't know. But it ends up being this blue theme. I kind of had like a beigey whitey theme for the main bedroom, and then kind of more of a pastel pink theme for the kids' bedroom. bedroom, and then this room ends up being more of a blue theme, which I really liked. I liked having the different colors in there. I was able to use some other pieces that I feel like are really nice, like the tall dresses from high school years. They worked really nicely in this room, and I also used one of the vanities as well from Vintage Glamour stuff. I don't use those vanities very often. I don't have a use for them because I find them really kind of awkward, but this one that I used in here, it kind of fit perfectly, and with this chair as well, it's like a throne chair. It just looks really cool. It definitely gives the right vibes as well. So did struggle with this one window above this fireplace though, as you'll be seeing. I'm trying to put pictures over it at the moment. I knew I wanted a fireplace in this room, and I knew I wanted it across from the bed, but there was this window, so I end up covering it with pictures. It ends up working in the end. It just took way too long to figure it out, that's all. One thing I did struggle with this build, and it's not something I struggle with a lot, is I just wanted to get right into decorating, like doing the little extra bits. And I started doing that here and there, and I was like, no, I just need to finish doing what I'm doing, and then I can get to the decorating. It just was such a struggle because I kept remembering things, and I'm like, oh, I can use this thing here, and I can use this thing here, and I need to do that now before I forget about it. Like the little portrait thing from, I'm pretty sure it's Paranormal Stuff, the little book thingy that has 2 pictures in it. I was like, that needs to go on a bedside table somewhere. So with that being said, now comes the time. You get to see the house all decorated, but before that, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder of what the ghost train actually looks like so that you can see it, and then we're going to go straight back into The Sims 4 to have a look at my version. So here it is, my finished recreation of the ghost train, and made it into a functional but decrepit and rundown old haunted house. I'm excited. So obviously it's not exactly the same. There are some things that the Sims team were able to do with the ghost train that I was not able to do with this build. For example, the sign here, that sign is not an item, so I had to do the best that I could with some planks of wood and some decals and hope that it worked. I think it gets the vibes across, and also some of the decals that you're seeing on the walls. I mean, we don't have a bat decal. How do we not have a bat decal? How did the Vampires pack not come with a bat decal? I have no idea, but we did have some ghost decals, and we did have this cute little pumpkin decal, so I used that a lot. And then a lot of the cracks and the gashes and stuff to make it look a little bit run down. Some ivy in places as well. We've got the cobwebs. Yeah, I kind of think this is cool. So you'll also notice that we've got this string lights underneath this porch roof. It might be easier if I come down a little bit and have a look. We've got this string lights, these lantern lights, these box lanterns. They're supposed to be the teeth of the ghost train monster mouth thing, because that was a thing. I didn't know how else to recreate that. I felt like that was going to be the best way to do it. We do also have this big graveyard out the front. I had this big plot of empty space that I had no idea what to do with, and I went, well, we are in Forgotten Hollow. What is spooky in Forgotten Hollow? Dead things. So I put a little graveyard here, and there's a lot of graves. It probably is too much, but I'm happy with it. I think it's really cool. It looks really cool at night. We will have a look at the house at night in a minute. I just did want to show you the whole thing during the day so that you could see. So I did also use some landscaping that came with the Vampires pack, like this gnarled tree that honestly gives me Hexus from Fern Gully vibes. If you've seen Fern Gully, you know exactly what I'm on about. If you have not seen Fern Gully, you need to educate yourself. Robin Williams and Tim Curry, freaking amazing. In the ghost train, the door is boarded up at the back. I couldn't board it up. Maybe I could have if I went into debug, but I did not want to go into debug for this build. I wanted to use what was available to us. So this door, we'll see it when we go inside, but it's kind of behind where the stairs are, so it's definitely not a functional door. Your Sims cannot get through it at all. Now, I know you can see the white of the lights. There's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. You will understand why I had to have these lights when I show you it at night. It's just unfortunate that you can see them so clearly during the day, that is all. When you come through the door, you are greeted immediately with the staircase, and I think you can kind of see straight away how much fun I had with decorating this. There is stuff everywhere. There is torn parts of the wall, there's cobwebs, there's cracks in the walls. Oh, I had the most fun decorating. There's also papers strewn about on the floor. You'll be seeing some of the werewolves claw marks that I was talking about earlier. So this is the entryway. Just a basic little room, nothing much to it really. I kind of think I want to go this way first. I know you're seeing this green thing. That is the pumpkin decal from outside. ignore it, please. We're gonna pretend it's not there. Maybe we'll go into the bathroom first so I can show you the ornate vibes, but made incredibly run down. Oh my goodness. The werewolves that took over in here, they did a number on this place. So honestly, this house could kind of be like, you could take it and you could restore it back to its former glory. You could even renovate it just to suit what your needs, whatever. But like, it just has been so run down. Like, you saw how nice this looked in the speed build, and I had the most fun just absolutely destroying it with all of the stuff. It's so cool. We got the slimy stuff on the floor, gross, disgusting. You'll love to see it for this build. And then through this archway, we've got the dining room downstairs with the portrait of Vlad above the fireplace. Don't know how that is still intact, but we've got cobwebs everywhere. We've got papers on the floor everywhere. And then we do have some graffiti on the walls as well. This wolf decal from the Werewolves game pack. I had so much fun using these decals throughout the build. I used them a few times. It's like the werewolves. I said, I've taken over this place. We've even got the paint cans to prove it, guys. They hate vampires. They took it over. They made it a little werewolf den. It was the vibe that I was feeling. This is the kitchen. So the werewolves do their business there. Anyway, that was the vibe that I was feeling. That anywhere you see this pile of newspapers, that's where the werewolves were doing their business. Anyway, the kitchen with the, again, very cracked rundown. We've even got some spiders in the spider webs. I love to see it. Here we are in the main suite. Again, some really gross stains on the floor and stuff, but the vibes aside from that, very spooky, very haunted, very decrepit, very run down. Exactly the vibes that I was hoping for. Oh, this is where the door is. You see how there's this like tear here? That's where the door on the back is. It's kind of behind the stairs otherwise, like you can see it here. We're currently in the stairs. Here is the door. So your Sims definitely can't use it. And when you're playing in live mode, you can't see this gap in the wall here. That's only happening because we're in tab mode. So I promise you it doesn't look like that normally. But with that being said, let's go upstairs and take a look at the second floor. And straight away, we are met with werewolf graffiti once again at the top of the stairs as well. So freaking cool. And then we've got some muddy paw prints that lead over into the parlor room over there. But this is the landing, the second floor landing. These portraits on the wall though, they change. Like, I don't know when they changed, but they're from the spooky stuff pack and they change and get all spooky. So I had to include them in this build. Through this door, we've got the upstairs bathroom. This bathroom is slightly smaller than the downstairs bathroom. So we only have one basin in here. It's still just as grotty and dirty. And as a matter of fact, there's a freaking tree branch that is growing through the room. So one of the trees out the back of the house, I purposely placed it so that we would have branches in this room. I feel like it's the only time you can get away with that kind of thing in this kind of build. That is the bathroom, and then through this door, we've got the parlor room. Now, it's just a big recreational room. So in here, we've got this big seating area where all of the wealthy men would sit down with their brandies and talk about their money and stuff. And then we do have a desk over here as well. It's full of all the cluttery goodness. A fireplace again with some slashed vampire paintings. Oh, it's fun. It's so much fun. And then we do have a pipe organ as well. Some more cabinetry that came with Realm of Magic. Thank you, Realm of Magic. And we do have a bar in here as well. I know that like the heart bed doesn't really belong in this build, but I thought that maybe the werewolves brought the bed with them and then left it here when they left. So through this door is the spare bedroom. It is the blue room. So we've got some tears through the rugs, some muddy paw prints everywhere, cobwebs everywhere. I just had so much fun putting cobwebs all over everything, all of the cracks on the walls and the holes in the walls. So much fun. And last but certainly not least, we have this doorway, which is at the top of the stairs, and this is the kids' bedroom. So let's go in and have a look. Rundown vintage vibes. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So these toy boxes are what I was talking about before. They are so freaking cute. We've got more stains on the floor, more muddy paw prints, more graffiti from the werewolves on the walls. Restoring this to its former glory, I think, could be a lot of fun if you're up to the task. But we've had a look at this house during the daytime now. There is one more thing I wanted to show you. One of the main things about this build is how it looks at nighttime with the lights, because I was trying to make it look as accurate to the ghost train as I possibly could. So here we have it at night. Now, it's not quite as bright as the ghost train is, but it definitely gives the same vibes. The pink especially is a little bit of a letdown. I think the green looks amazing, but the pink lights, I wish they were just a little bit brighter. I could have put more in, but they were so obvious during the day as it was. I didn't want to put any extra than I had to. The green looks freaking amazing though, and even my little graveyard at the front looks freaking sick as well. And if you guys do love it, it will be available to download on the gallery. My gallery ID is sezrawrr, the exact same way it's spelled here, and you will find it under Ghost Train Haunted House. Because yes, I have spoken about making it a haunted house many times before, but you'll be seeing it is also a haunted house residential. But on top of that, I made it extra challenging by giving it the cursed, creepy crawlies and spooky lot challenges. And then the traits, it's on a dark ley line, it is a registered vampire lair, and it's a vampire nexus as well. So super fun, definitely a very challenging build if you wanted to keep these challenges and traits yourself. So it will be on the gallery to download if you would like to have it in your game. Like I said, it does use a lot of packs. I do apologize for that, but you could just completely gut it, completely renovate it to suit your needs and how you wanted it for, if you just want the shape especially. But you guys, that's all I've got for this video of building the high school years ghost train and making it a functional haunted house. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I've said multiple times, I had the most fun with this build. If you want to see more of me and a couple more spooky season videos I've got coming your way, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell next to it to be notified of every time that I upload. And if you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button down below and leave me a comment as well. Leave me the ghost emoji to let me know that you got this far in the video, that you really like this build and you're excited to see a couple more spooky season videos coming your way. But guys, I hope you're having the spookiest day ever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!